Oh my God. I just took a sip of my soda and completely missed my mouth because I was reading this. And let's be honest, no, it was completely unplanned. I didn't plan that at all. You know what I realized? People want you to be successful, but not too successful. Like, she is the sweetest little girl. I don't know how I got that lucky because I'm not that nice. I'm nice, but she is like over the top nice. That's kind of why I really don't talk about my mom much. Hello, hello, my loves. Guess what? Today we are doing a Q&A. Only thing is, my office is a complete disaster. I mean, just keeping it real, I'm gonna have to like set up, move some things around so we can sit down and we can chat. So I asked maybe 2 weeks ago if you would send me your questions on Instagram, and so I pulled them up on my stories. Lots of questions we're gonna jump into. We got things like pregnancy talk. People wanna know about fashion. Yes, honey, all about the fashion, being fit, finding your career, etc. So we have a lot to talk about, but first things first, let's find a space. Like, we really do need a space. Let's do this. All right, I cleaned off an area. I got my phone. So as you can see here, there are lots and lots of questions. So I'm gonna try my best to get through them. Don't mind the talking, there are people in my home. But if you are new here, hi, I am Silva, and today we are doing a Q&A. So buckle up, grab a snack, grab something to drink, and let's start chatting. So the first question that I usually get, what do you do for a living? I get this quite often, even though I think it's obvious, but maybe it's not obvious for someone who's not in this industry. I am an influencer. I make money from content creation. I work with lots of different brands, but I have been doing this for almost 7 years. I went full-time after, I think it took me about 2 years or maybe a year and a half before I even saw a dime, but it is something that I hustle to do. So just really quickly, let me explain it to you. Basically, influencers and what you see in social media advertising is nothing more than marketing and advertising that you would see in a television show or when you're watching TV. You know how you see ads at the beginning of YouTube videos? It's kind of the same thing when you're scrolling through Instagram. You're looking at influencers doing different types of ads, sometimes in videos, sometimes in stills. That's how I make a living. I come up with the content creation. They will give me a brief like, hey, for example, we would love to talk about our new plant spray. Can you come up with a great, creative, fun idea to talk about our plant spray? And I'm like, yes, I would love to do that. How about if like I was like flipping through the sky and then like spraying on the plant and then I'm like swipe up. Nah, you know what I mean? Okay, so what I do for a living, I am a content creator, also known as an influencer. Where did I go to college? I went to college at LIU, downtown Brooklyn. I dropped out. When will we see the hubby? Never, probably. This is not his jam. This is not his job. This is my job. It's kind of just like, hey, like me showing up at his job, like, hey, when are you gonna take me to work? Like, we just keep these things completely separate. How long were you posting, blogging before you saw exponential growth? Pretty much at least a year of hard work, not getting paid a dime, literally just doing it when I can on my own time, but trying to be as consistent as possible. I started on Instagram first. And then after I hit 10,000 followers, then I got a blog. So just consistency is key. You look amazing. Can you share your fitness journey post-pregnancy? Thank you very much, by the way. Look, how bad do you want it? Do you want to be fit, or you are okay with just chilling and hanging on the couch? Like, it all boils down to how bad do you want something? One day I got up exactly 2 years ago, and I was like, I'm tired of being skinny fat. I am naturally petite. However, I was very, very flabby. I'm someone who was an athlete since I was 8 years old. So I have muscle tone, and that's the type of body that I'm used to, is being fit. And somewhere along the lines, I just got really lazy, and I felt like it was really affecting not my health, but my attitude. Like when I work out, I feel so great when I'm done. I'm more positive. Around this time, I felt like I had anxiety. I was always complaining. So for me, I was like, this is something that I need to do for myself. It was more self-care. I didn't do it to like lose weight or anything. I definitely don't want to lose any weight. I just, you know what? I hired a trainer. It was my New Year's resolution 2 years ago. And I said, if I want this bad enough, I'll make time. And I get that question all the time. What about the time? Again, how bad do you want it? I used to get up at 6 a.m. and get to the gym by 6:30. Now I start working out at 7, and even though we're working out at home, it's a little bit easier for me to just go downstairs and start working out. And I still do a trainer on Zoom, or I will do a Peloton class, or I'll do some other type of Peloton strength classes. How do you decide what to wear in the morning? Honestly, it's very bizarre, but every day I feel like dressing a little bit different. My style is very sporadic. I can't really tell you what my style is if someone was to ask. I'm a chameleon. I'm constantly evolving and changing or want to try something new. My mood usually comes in the shower. So in the shower, I get ideas on what to shoot or what I want to shoot. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the water that's coming out, the energy is coming through the water or what. And then I will also put my look together inside the shower, and I know I can literally see in my mind what will go together, what will look good and what will not look good. It's just, I think I just get creative when I'm in the water. If you weren't an influencer / blogger, what would you be? I would be some sort of creative director. At the time, I used to want to creative direct for a magazine, but I think I would have to probably team up with some sort of production company and be a creative director for advertisements, digital advertisements. I would want to stay in a digital space. How do you stay confident? That's a really good question. I think that has to deal with two different things. One, becoming a parent. Once I became a parent, I started to realize that the small things that I used to sweat were not a big deal. It was ridiculous. And then two, age. I mean, I don't know if many of you know this, but I'm 40 years old. Like, I've had a journey. I've worked hard to be here. It's not like I'm some 19-year-old living like this posh life. I've definitely put in my dues. So I think somewhere along the lines, and you know how they say old people don't care? Not that I'm calling myself old, but somewhere along the lines, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm unapologetic. This is me, and I feel so comfortable in my skin right now. I'm like, hey, one day I could have some chicken fat. You know, you wave and your arm goes blah, 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 like a flag. And I remember that happened to me over the summer, and I was like, that feels uncomfortable. But I got up and I did something about it. I was like, whatever doesn't make me feel good, I get up and I change it. But other than that, I stopped seeking validation from other people. When you stop doing that and you just are comfortable in your own skin and stop caring, that's when you feel your most confident self. How long have you been into fashion? I've been into fashion for as long as I can remember. I remember being young and fashion was my outlet from whatever I was going through. As a kid, I moved around a lot. My mom never stayed still, so I was always the new girl in different schools. And I remember like just thinking my style had to be on point, but I didn't have a lot of money. So, and my dad's favorite thing was to take me school shopping at the Salvation Army. It was literally mortifying for me because I cared so much about fashion. I would run through the racks at the Salvation Army to find baggy clothes like crisscross because that was my era. It was just my outlet. It was my way to wearing my personality without having to say anything at all. And as I got older, I remember just like getting dressed up just to walk down Fifth Avenue. Had no Fifth Avenue money, but internally I was just kind of manifesting it. I was like, I feel luxurious. I feel good. I'm gonna walk down Fifth Avenue. I would go in Gucci. I would go in Gucci and literally just window shop and just be like, these are nice, and then picture myself in them. I would even try them on knowing I don't have $1. Fashion was just always my way of life. It's my outlet, and I appreciate the art form of it and the people that come up with these designs. I've just always been obsessed with that, and I couldn't draw, so I was just always in awe of it. So yeah, I guess I've always been into fashion. All right, this is the good one. Talk pregnancy. Did you plan, and what was your experience? My first pregnancy was at 30 years old, and I got pregnant with London. And let's be honest, no, it was completely unplanned. I didn't plan that at all. I was a bartender and I was just coming home from my shift. And to be honest with you, I was a little bit tipsy. I'm getting really close and personal with you guys. And I was just kind of like, I am not feeling good. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. It dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute, let me take a pregnancy test tomorrow. And I did the next day. And I was like, oh my God, this is not what I was expecting. This is not what I wanted. And you know what? No, I wasn't ready. No, it wasn't planned, but it had to have been the best thing that ever happened to me. It's amazing that once you have a kid, you realize, oh, I just wanted to be at this certain place in my life so I can teach him this and be this role model and do that. And I didn't have any of those things. Didn't have a career, had nothing. I was a bartender. I was like, how could I bartend and I'm pregnant? But then I realized once London was born, it wasn't me who was doing the teaching. Instead, it was me learning from my child. So it was an amazing journey, and it was just such a blessing. This is a really good question, guys. Do your kids know that they're wealthy? How do you keep them humble? I really wish I was wealthy. Do we know what wealthy is? Wealthy is crazy. And to be honest, New York standards, I'm not even considered rich. I'm considered comfortable. I'm considered completely comfortable. I'm not wealthy, guys. I know I have a townhome. I know that you see a lot of these luxury items, but I think that we also need to remember I work in luxury. I get to pull a lot of items. That means I get to borrow them. After I finish wearing them, I give them back. Well, not wearing them like on repeat, but for example, I just got a few samples in. So this is, again, more like, hey, a brand would like to get their pieces on more brand awareness. So they'll send them over, I will shoot them. As soon as I finish shooting them, I will send them back. So I'm not buying all of these things. Do I get to go on great vacations? Yes. Do I pay for most of my vacations? Yes, but I also come from a 2-income family. Again, I just made some really good investments with the money I have made in the last few years, which has kept us very comfortable as a family here in New York. But wealthy, I am not. But I really appreciate that you feel that I'm that luxurious. And as far as keeping the kids humble, honestly, London is the most humble child I've ever met in my life. Today she came to me and she was like, I have an amazing idea for my birthday. Of course, my camera dies because I wouldn't be me if I didn't have some sort of technology malfunction. Back to London, she came to me and she was like, I got a great idea for my birthday. I'm turning 10, not until September. She was like, but I would like to do 10 things of gratitude for my birthday. So I would like to give or help others or do something along those lines. And I just thought it was really sweet. Like, she is the sweetest little girl. I don't know how I got that lucky because I'm not that nice. I'm nice, but she is like over the top nice. Oh, great. My battery is going to die. So we're probably gonna have to do this in 2 different segments because there are a lot of questions. Where am I now? Where am I staying? That's a no. Does Rio look more like you or your husband? I personally think Rio looks just like me. I don't know why everyone keeps saying that London looks like me. I swear, I look at Rio and I'm like, he's my twin. Like, if we're being honest, I don't think that he looks like either one of us. When I was younger, he looked a lot like my baby pictures, but we have... Okay, I'm back. Camera died. I went ahead and charged it for just a bit. I mean, obviously I'm a hot mess. We all know that. Back to the question. How do you not let negativity get you down? Thing is, when you put yourself out there, you have to realize someone is going to hate on you. And there's too much positive comments that I refuse to let the small negative comments outweigh the good. Like, it is what it is. You know what I realized? People want you to be successful, but not too successful. And then you have the people who are in your corner and rooting for you the same way they would be rooting for your friends. Those are my peoples. Love you guys. But I'm the type of person that I'm like, there's enough for all of us. I'm never one to like keep a secret or thinking like I can't put you on to something. And there are tons of other people who feel that way. Those aren't my people. You know what? If you hate on me and you judge me and you have some sort of comment, you're not my people. Again, I just don't care. Like I don't feel the need to feel validated by social media or someone who just does not know me. What are my goals for this year? That is a really good question. I'm gonna manifest some new things. One of my goals, my husband really wants like, not a summer home, but like a house upstate somewhere. He's from a very small town, like he's from a farm. So I really wanted to find a barn situation that we can completely gut renovate and convert, that is on land, somewhere where the kids can kind of go be one with nature, and I can pamper myself in the house because I'm from New York and I'm not in here trying to mess with any animals. But if they want to have chickens and stuff, like, go for it. So that is a big goal of mine. Another goal career-wise is to continue, I just started this year, to really work with some luxury brands that I have lusted over since I was young. Possibly get some product, some merch, as London would like to say. Possibly work on a product line. I would really love to even do an online cooking tutorial situation, and just kind of really work on growing my brand. Maybe even dabble into hair care and talk about that a little bit more, but still stay in content development, if that makes sense. What would you say to your 17-year-old self? Be patient. Be patient. It will all happen. What's your nationality? You have such a multicultural name. My mom is Puerto Rican and Brazilian. My father was Black and Cuban. What city do you go to for your ski getaways, and how do you find your rental? So we found our ski rental on VRBO. They have some really, really cute ones. And then for skiing, we aren't flying anywhere, so we just drove up to Wyndham. From Wyndham, you can either ski in Hunter or you can ski in Wyndham, and then there are two little shops in town that you can rent your skis from, or you can actually get the rentals from the ski mountain. I did an entire video about it. I'll put the video up here just to give you some more insight. Favorite book of all time? I feel like, that's a hard one. That's a really hard one. Just recently, I really started getting into audiobooks because I found that there's not enough time in the day and not enough time for me to sit down and read because I'm constantly moving and doing things for work. So I started just like really indulging into more audiobooks. I'm gonna tell you what my favorite audiobook was, and then what was the last hard copy book that I loved. It was a few years back. I want to say like, not just a few years, like 20 years ago. 20 years ago, a friend of mine gave me a book called The Instant Millionaire by Mark Fisher. It was a short book, very easy read. It was more about, it was a story, and it was more of a fictional situation. It had laws of attraction in it and manifestation, and basically like, you know how some people, we're ingrained as soon as we are able to work, that your parents are like, you work hard, and you'll be able to enjoy your money, or you save, but are you supposed to be working harder, or should you be working smarter? Like, is it luck or is it meant to be? Like, it's just all, anyway, it's a really good book about this guy. He met this millionaire, and I think you should just go ahead and pick it up. Listen to the Cliff Notes, it's way better. He explains it way better, but it was something that just ingrained in me, and ever since then, I've always been into manifesting things, or I didn't know that they were called manifesting at the time. It was more of, I just tried to escape reality and would visualize me doing things and picturing myself in those places. And I was kind of subconsciously plugging these things into my mind, and lo and behold, it all came true. But that's kind of how that book went and started for me. And then an audio book that I just recently read was called Into the Magic Shop. And this was a book that was, this is a nonfiction book about a surgeon who came from nothing, dirt poor. He was terrible in school. Like, it was crazy how he even got into medical school and then became this surgeon. And it all started because he went into this magic shop, basically met this woman, taught him how to meditate and manifest a life that he wanted. It was just a really good audiobook. Like, I could not stop listening to it. So those were my 2 favorite books. What did you do before influencing? And I might be reading that wrong, but what did I do before influencing? It sounds so weird to use it like as a verb, influencing. I was a bartender. I was a bartender for the longest. And then after that, I started my own company called Required Flair. And I sold accessories and jewelry, kind of like the same stuff that you would see on Bubble Bar. I kind of learned how to do websites. I learned how to import my jewelry, do profit margins, etc. That job really helped me with my current job, just as far as like creating content for the products and just like light coding. It helped me with my blog once I transitioned into another job, working with PR companies, etc. Like, so from a brand perspective versus a content creator, it was very, very helpful. Where would you consider living if not in New York? Europe. I don't think I could live anywhere else. I would go to London. I love London, hence my daughter's name. I love London. I love Paris. I love Italy, maybe Milan or something. Like, I think it has to be a metropolitan city. Like, I'm so used to being in a city that it needs to be in a city until I'm ready to possibly retire or something, which will probably be never. What did you learn about yourself in the last year? I'm resilient. But I think I already knew that. I'm pretty resilient. What did I learn about myself in the last year? Probably patience. I think I really learned a little bit more on how to be patient. Would you ever try a capsule wardrobe? Yes. Oddly enough, there is this company called, is it New York City Wardrobe or NYC Wardrobe or Wardrobe NYC? My best friend put me onto about their leggings, and they sell like an entire capsule collection that you can have. And I was like, this is pretty cool. I like the idea. I was thinking about buying like that capsule collection and doing maybe like a YouTube video about it. The only reason that I would say a capsule collection would not work for me, that is mainly because of my job. I shoot so many different trends and try different things, and more importantly, I just like to inspire. So that capsule collection probably would not work because I would just be, again, wearing the same things over and over again, and it would also alienate me from working with different brands. So many good questions, I have to tell you. Okay, how long did you date before you got married? 8 years. It's almost 13 years that I've been with my husband, but we did not get married until Rio was born. And Rio was born almost 4 years ago. He'll be 4 in April. So our 4th anniversary is coming up. We just, we actually lived apart for 8 years, or seven and a half, 8 years. And he lived in Montreal, I lived in New York, and we would do 1 week on, 1 week off. And honestly, it was like the best relationship ever, because it gives you some time to like miss each other and get butterflies. And you knew that week, you're like, yeah, my man is coming home, or my boo is coming home, we're gonna go on dates and I'm gonna do this. Or it was kind of like, all right, you're getting on my nerves, I need some space. I'm never the chick who's gonna be up under you or is overly emotional. Like, that's just not me. I need time to like do my thing. I'm very, very independent. So for us, our relationship worked really well. I think it just depends on who you are, what type of a person you are. And more importantly, there needs to be trust in a relationship, which is what we have. Are you planning on having more kids? I get this question quite often. Sometimes I say yes, and then a lot of times I say no. Reason why is 1, I am 40. 2, I am tired. And 3, I work a lot. I have 2 amazing children, 1 girl, 1 boy already. I feel like I'm in a really good spot. I also live in New York City. This is not the cheapest place in the world to live at all. But after my father passed away, I started thinking more about expanding our family, but I'm still on the fence about it. So I don't really have a yes or no answer for you. If I decide, I'll let you know. Do you have siblings? My dad had 12 children. I'm number 11. So yes, I have siblings. My mom, she had 2 kids. My older brother, we are 10 years apart, and he lives in California. your kids still see their half brother. So if you don't know, my husband had a son from his first marriage, and he is going to be 21 in April, and he's not here now. He lives in Canada. He is in college. He's not here now because obviously COVID and the fact that he is in college. Do the kids see him? Yes, very frequently. They talk on FaceTime all the time. They are obsessed with him. It's really cute. What's the age gap between your kids and how do you like it? My age gap between the kids are 5.5 years, and I could not have asked for anything better. They are so close. I put all of their videos on Instagram, so if you follow me, they are like, they are inseparable. They like to sleep in each other's beds. Like, Rio watches Barbie. Like, it's really cute. They're really, really cute. What's the worst part about being a blogger slash influencer? I would have to say privacy. I think sometimes when I go on days where I just don't feel like sharing, people are kind of like, oh, are you okay? And like, which I think is super sweet, and it's very nice to reach out, but sometimes I'm just burnt. So it's either the privacy or the constant feeling of having to produce content, because we live in such an instantaneous world right now where everything is instant, and once you finish one project, you need to move on to the next. There is no time in between it. And also the fact that this job is not a normal job. Like, you don't have a maternity leave, you don't have a sick leave, you just go. Like, even when you're sick, you're like, hey, I'm not feeling good. Like, you're just always kind of sharing. And the way social media is, even the platforms in general, like, once you stop posting on such a consistent basis, it's kind of like all of a sudden your algorithm switches and things change. It's almost as if they're penalizing you for not posting in a consistent manner, which is kind of messed up, because social media can really mess up someone's head. For me, I'm like, again, older, kind of just don't care. But I think those are probably the two worst things about the job, is the constant need to always be on, even when you're not in the mood. And just not having any days off. Like, there are no days off, right? But other than that, it is an amazing job. And if it is not for the weak, I have to tell you that. It is not for the weak. This job will eat you up. A lot of people don't see a lot of the behind the scenes, but it's not easy. But again, I get to connect with so many different people, the stories that are so relatable with a lot of others. And it's just a hustle. And I'm from New York City, so I like to hustle. Tips for mixing highs and lows seamlessly. Highs and lows, you guys know that's my jam. I think for highs and lows, honestly, you don't need $1 million outfit. It just needs to look like it. Oh, someone's here, hold on. Sorry about that. Yeah, I feel like it just needs to look like $1 million. Look, you can wear an H&M jacket, a Hanes shirt from Target, and some Levi's. But if you throw it on, the key is the accessory. Throw it on with a very chic bag, some really cute shoes, and honestly, even your sunnies can be El Cheapo, and you can get away with that look. Just have swag, be confident. Confidence, by the way, is priceless. When you walk into the room and you see a woman who's confident, you're just kind of like, immediately, you can just be eating at dinner and you see a woman who's confident and you're kind of like, oh, yes, queen, you're owning it. I love a confident woman. So that is how to mix highs and lows. Just invest in some accessories. What is my educational background? I went to Long Island University, downtown Brooklyn campus. I was a bio pre-med major. I wanted to be a pediatrician. I wanted to go to GW med school with a very good friend of mine. I ended up moving to DC and realizing that was not for me after seeing her study the way she was. I also failed organic chem. I could not get past it. It was beyond boring to me that I could not, it was just like not there. I was just not. Physics I actually really liked, but organic chem was like, just not for me. And then I realized I ran out of money. I couldn't afford my tuition. Therefore, that was the main reason that I dropped out. But after that, realized that I kind of just wanted to really just work in fashion. So I went that way. I started interning for a really big fashion house in New York City. It was like working for Devil Wears Prada, really just like that. And I realized I wanted to be an entrepreneur, still work in that industry, but I couldn't figure it out. And then that's when I started Required Flair, the jewelry company, and then ended up becoming a blogger by accident. Oh my gosh, guys. I was filming this video yesterday, such a hot mess. The camera died and all the batteries for it were dead as well. So I was like, you know what? I'll just charge the camera and then start again. By that time, it's winter light. The light was done and I just didn't get to finish. So I'm gonna do about 5 more and then I'm gonna take off. And if you guys have more questions, I can do a part 2 video another day. Are you ever afraid of showing your kids? I like to start to show my children's style on social media, but I'm afraid. This is a very touchy topic for a lot of parents because our priority in our job is to protect our children. I come at it from a different perspective because my children were models. So Lennon started modeling before the blog even took off. So I was completely fine with transitioning into digital marketing with my children. I think one of the biggest things, I'll never show them naked or in the bathtub. There are certain things that look inappropriate. Like if I shoot London and her skirt is too short or like certain things that I know would look inappropriate, I will not post it. And then for the most part, I mean, obviously don't share geotag in real time. Just be very cautious of it. And if you are afraid, then maybe not do it. I think that this is something that you should be comfortable with. And another thing that you need to think about is long-term. Your children's pictures are out there, like make sure, you know, your kids are gonna get older. Are they gonna dislike you because you posted certain things that should have been personal? I think that it's just a personal preference. Just be careful. Would you recommend never using your address for shipping items, for gifted or personal bought items? I never use my address for giftings or PR packages. I have a business shipping address. So most of the packages that you see in my office, they have addresses, etc. on it. It is not my home address. It is a facility that takes packages on my behalf and signs for it. They send me an email, and when I have the time, I will go and pick it up. I also have porch pirates. Those are people who come and steal your packages. So even when I am doing something personal, if it's something that is like a luxury item or something, I will send it to my shipping address versus sending it to my home, because there is a possibility someone might steal it like they did my Sakara food. So again, that is a personal preference. I'd rather not just give my home address out to anyone. I have kids and a family, so. What was your first most expensive purchase before becoming an influencer? My very first expensive, like my own money splurge was a Chanel, that black Chanel classic medium caviar silver hardware. It was pretty expensive. I remember when I bought it, I was just like, I went in there and I saw a girl trying it on and I was like, do you happen to have that in silver? She was like, we do. And I was like, oh. Like that was the moment for me that I was kind of like, okay, so either you put the money up or you get out. And then I've made it a habit to not feel bad about my purchases. I've always had caviar taste, but I also had tuna fish money back then. I felt bad for buying things, and you should not feel bad. I realized that like money is energy. You should feel good about spending it in a way where you know it's going to come back. Like if you're spending your rent money, like that's an issue. But if you work hard, I mean, there shouldn't be any reason why you shouldn't treat yourself. And when you are spending that money, you should be grateful at the same time. So I've gotten into this habit where I thank my money. So even if it's like back in the day, I used to get so cranky if a bill collector would call me for something, like when I was in college. And I'm like, I'm in college, I don't have any money. And a bill collector is like, oh, you gotta pay this bill. And I used to get cranky about it. But now I thank my money and I'm like grateful and say thank you that I have the money to pay my bills. So it's just it was a mind shift. I don't know how I got here. I was on one question and got to another place. How can I switch careers if I'm not happy? I feel so defeated and have no idea where to start. That's a really good question because a lot of people are scared of switching jobs, and also it's a security blanket, right? You're used to knowing where the money's coming in, what day it's coming in, if you have health insurance with that company. And when you start as an entrepreneur, you kind of just don't know what's gonna happen, but you have to be willing to hustle. And it's when I say hustle, it's not being an entrepreneur and working for yourself is not like, I'll work today and then tomorrow I'll take off. It doesn't work like that. You are going to start working like 80 hours a day. But you need to make sure that you find something that you are passionate about so it doesn't feel like work. Instead, it makes you happy to do these things. You know what? A lot of meditation helped me too, and really just being present and listening to my inner self and figuring out what it is that I really want to do. And I think once you start really listening to yourself and taking that leap and being positive that everything is going to work itself out, everything ends up working itself out. Do you believe that you can wear curly hair with every outfit? Actually, it's a good question, because no, I feel like sometimes if I'm wearing curly hair and I have on a particular outfit, it can make me feel dated, kind of end up looking like I'm in the 70s. So that's why sometimes if I am wearing like a big chunky sweater, I will pull my hair back and have on big hoops, just to kind of give it some, like, there needs to be some proportions and space and skin that is open. That was actually a really good question. For the most part, curly hair does go with everything, but it depends on particular outfits. You know, you gotta change up the look sometime. Where did you grow up and how was it? I moved around a lot as a kid. Majority of the time I grew up in New York. However, I was born in California. A lot of people don't know that, but I didn't stay there long. I only stayed there for a couple of grades. I lived in Florida with my dad for a little bit and then ended up back in New York. I got to New York when I was in 2nd grade, and then I left, came back. And then I think I spent a few years in Florida. And then once I became like a teen, I got back to New York. I grew up in Brooklyn, East Flatbush. And how was it? It was some of the best times of my life. I mean, it was, looking back on it now, I didn't have much, but I made the best out of it. I ran track for 10 years of my life, so I was an athlete, and a lot of the things that I did revolved around there. I worked at JCPenney, I worked at Sears. It was either Sears or JCPenney, one of those. I always had a job because I had expensive taste, that I had to have like the best sneakers and things like that. I moved out of my house when I was 17. And I had like this, I had an apartment in Brooklyn, and it was my last year in high school. So I moved out my last year in high school, and I had a roommate who happened to be a guy, and him and I were really good friends, just friends. And that was that. And then I ended up going to college downtown Brooklyn. Like at that time I was just like, I refuse to leave Brooklyn. And then eventually I moved to the city. I moved to Gramercy, stayed there. I was a party animal, and I kind of just lived my best life in my 20s, and I had a really good time. So I genuinely feel like, even though I was born in California, I was raised in New York. I am through and through a New Yorker. So I'm going to answer one more question, and then I think I'm gonna make this a wrap because this was a lot. And then the last question that I have is a personal question that I've kind of avoided for a while, but a few of you have asked me several times about it, and not, I don't think in a prying way, just kind of like out of curiosity. And the last question is, you talk about your dad, but not your mom. How was your relationship with your mom? Growing up, I lived majority with my mom, aside from when I lived with my dad in Florida, and my mom and I were super close, very thick as thieves. Somewhere along the lines of my teenage years and being in New York, my mom, I think maybe around the time of maybe like when I got out of high school and kind of left the house. So she suffers from bipolar disorder. So sometimes that can be a little bit of an issue because she's bipolar but doesn't believe she's bipolar. So therefore she doesn't take any medication. And my mom was very holistic, and when we were younger, she had a health food store. So that kind of explains why I'm so into adaptogens and things like that. But she had a health food store, and she was very, very healthy, like super health conscious about everything. Those are some of the traits that I still have today. But unfortunately, somewhere along the lines, things shifted. And, you know, because she's bipolar, she self-medicates, and she self-medicates with alcohol. So my mom is an alcoholic, and it put a really big strain on our relationship because I tried to help so many times. Like, you know, at the end of the day, I'm very close to my family. When you have when you look at your parent, you're like, that's my parent. Like you grew me inside of your body, especially now that I am a parent and I look at my kids, I'm just kind of like, I feel like I could never do those types of things to my kids. And my mom has an illness, you know, it's a disease. My grandfather was an alcoholic and now she is, and it is a complete disease and it's very, very unfortunate. But I tried for so many years, and I think I truly just kind of gave up on our relationship when my son was born because my priorities shifted and I needed to be the best me to take care of my children and do the best job that I can do for them. And it was a very emotional and hard thing to do, to just kind of wash my hands and say I can't keep doing things for her when she will never change, because she didn't acknowledge it. She didn't acknowledge that she had an issue or acknowledge that she's bipolar. And again, mental illness is a very serious topic, and it is something that should be addressed and talked about more freely and open, because a lot of people go through it. And I know a lot of people who have at least one alcoholic in their family. That's kind of why I really don't talk about my mom much. I love my mom until the end of day. And there's one thing that I do know is that she loves me too, no matter what. But unfortunately, she's dealing with a disease. So, with that said, woo! Well, I'm glad I finally got that out, but that's it. That is it for this Q&A. If you are new here, please make sure that you subscribe so we can be online besties, and comment down below, and I will see you guys on Saturday. Bye guys.